Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well and you're enjoying RxJS Live. And wait, this date is not supposed to mean anything to you, but it means so much to me because it was the date I was invited to the RxJS Live event, and I was extremely happy and excited to participate to the official conference of RxJS. And those were my expectations, okay? A stage I will rock, a happy audience there we'll see, some socializing and networking in one of the most attractive auditorium of the City of Dreams, London. And here is the reality. So, okay, no problem, I'm laughing to myself, but it's okay. And well, no matter what, we will keep on going, and welcome to my talk, my online talk, Embrace Real-Time Components. And I will walk you through my journey into Angular, WebSocket, and RxJS. But let me introduce myself. I'm a senior software engineer based in Tunisia. My name is Lamis, and I'm leading a team. I'm leading an Angular project in my company. And aside, I'm the founder of Angular Tunisia. I'm a speaker, mentor, and a content creator. And without further ado, let's jump into it. And the reason I came up with this talk is that on the one hand, I believe that real-time is an interesting topic to consider these days. And when you put this feature in your web application, it's like more engaging and more attractive to the user. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, WebSockets may seem daunting to many developers while they are extremely simple. And this is what I experienced when implementing this feature in my Angular application, and given a backend server based on Node.js. Okay, and you can use pretty much any other technology in the server side layer. And what I will show in this talk is applicable in the JavaScript ecosystem. But in short, I wanted my Angular components to be extremely reactive to the changes, okay? So it will update automatically without having to trigger any kind of events. And what I was extremely glad to know is that RxJS ships with a ready-to-use subject, which is the RxJS WebSocketSubject. And I have the support out of the box, as RxJS is a first-class citizen in Angular, so I don't have to include any third-party dependency in my project, because I'm not a big fan of doing this every time I have a new feature to add. And I said this many times before, and I will say it one more time. Okay, so even though there are many great packages over there that supports WebSocket, some implement the protocol and leave the rest for the developers. Others are just built on the top of this protocol with some additional great features. But again, I would rather pick something from the ecosystem I'm working on, because it's a cost, okay, in terms of performance, bundle size, maintainability, reliability, etc., and so many other criteria. So I give it a try, and that's why I'm here today to talk about the RxJS WebSocketSubject, and we'll go through it step by step. Sorry. But before, a little bit of background to make everyone able to follow. So WebSocket, and I think you may all be familiar with the WebSocket protocol, which has landed with HTML5, and it's attractive and useful when you want to establish a full duplex communication between your client and your server. And it's very used in use cases like chatting, gaming, live tracking, etc. And it has been there long enough to enjoy the excellent support around all the browsers also. And unlike HTTP, is a stateful communication protocol, which established, as I said, a low latency, full duplex bidirectional communication between your client and your server after a successful handshake done through HTTP. And this handshake is nothing but a regular HTTP request, but just to check and to tell the server, hello, I want to speak a different language. And if the server understands this, then a protocol upgrade will occur in the client. You will see this famous 101 switching protocol. And the RxJS WebSocket subject is a wrapper around the W3C comparable object available in the browser. And I see it as a regular subject. I mean, it's a regular subject. It's observable and observable at the same time. So you can subscribe to in order to get data, and you can also send some messages to the observers listening. And yeah, so you can both send and receive messages through WebSocket connection, and it inherits from the regular subject available in RxJS. And in order to use it, all that you have to do is calling the WebSocket factory function available in the browser, available in the RxJS WebSocket subject, and which take as a parameter the endpoint, the URL endpoint of your WebSocket, and returns a ready-to-use subject. Okay, and there are two parameters or two types of parameters. This method accepts two types of parameters. Whether the string, yeah, referring to the URL of your endpoint, or a complex object which contains some properties among the URL of your endpoint. And I will detail this special kind of object later in this talk. But just keep in mind that there are two ways to get or to create this WebSocket subject. And for the URL, you can use WS or WSS for secure connection. And as I said, this method will return the ready-to-use subject that you can subscribe to in order to establish the connection with your server. And so there's no connection, no socket, no channel before this subscription. That's clear. And you can get the messages coming from your server because it emits those messages for you. And you can also send messages to your server by calling the next method available in the subject. And once you're done, you can just complete or unsubscribe to release this connection and this channel. That's it. So into code, it gives that. So here I created the WebSocket subject, and I'm subscribing to in order to get some updates, and I'm sending this kind of static message to the server as an example to push messages to the server. And you're good to go. Okay, you're done with the first minimal example to make things work. So easy. And now let's move to some serious questions, which the answers will lead us to great conclusions for the real-time world. Now, the first question is, I said that the subscription opens a channel and a connection, and there will be one or many subscribers, so many subscribers may be listening. Does this mean that this will create as many connections as the subscribers? And hopefully the answer is no. Okay, the RxJS implementation takes care of this to save resources, and many subscribers, if you subscribe to the same instance of the subject, then many subscribers will listen to the same connection. But when there are different instances, then it will be different socket connection. This is what it looks like in terms of code. I created two instances of the WebSocket subject, but pointing out the same URL. Yeah, I put this in purpose. And here I have the first subscription, which will open the WebSocket connection. And then the second subscription, which will not open the WebSocket connection, because still I'm subscribing here to the same instance of the subject. Yeah, it will use the already opened connection. And here I have the second subject, okay, which will, the third subscription, which will subscribe to the second subject, and this will open a new connection, even though it's the same URL, but there are two different instances, so 2 separate connections systematically. So be aware of this. Now, as I said that the complete and unsubscribe will close the connection. And I said also that many subscribers will to the same instance will listen to the same socket channel. Now, if one unsubscribe, does it affect the others? And the answer is no, okay? The connection will only be released if no more subscribers are still listening. And this is where it looks like in terms of code. I have here an instance of the WebSocket subject, and the first subscription will open the connection. The second one will still listen on the same socket connection. Now, the first subscriber will unsubscribe, and the connection will stay open. The second one will unsubscribe, and then the connection will be closed. So it will be closed with if the last subscriber unsubscribe. And this is pretty good. Now, what about error handling? How can I handle errors, incoming errors and outgoing errors? And for handling the outgoing errors, I mean, the client can notify the server that something wrong happens by calling the error method and giving it an object containing your message, the code and the reason, etc. This way, the server will be notified. And on the other way around, you can register a callback to handle incoming errors from the server. Here I have 3 callbacks. The first one is for processing incoming messages, second one for processing incoming errors from the server, and the third one will be triggered when the connection is closed or interrupted or something. But here again, be aware of something, that the error closes the connection, okay? It notifies the server and then it closes the connection. So the previous diagram, if you remember, will be complete if we add this arrow, which is the error, and this will notify the server and then close the connection. Yeah, and here we have an exhaustive list of events. Now, are outgoing messages lost when the connection is down? And the answer here is no, they are buffered, okay? When the connection is down for whatever reason, and you are sending messages to your server, so the RxJS WebSocketSubject implementation take care of buffering those messages for you, so they will be emitted to the observers when the connection is reestablished again. So here again, we have the buffering capability. Now let's move to the RxJS WebSocketSubject config, the object I told you about earlier, and which is accepted as a parameter when creating the WebSocket function. And this object is really helpful when you want to customize, because in a real world example, you will need to do many customization, okay, in your application. So this subject, this is what this this object, sorry, for, and it makes you able to intercept a specific moment of the socket lifecycle to introduce or to trigger your custom behavior. I mean, for example, you want to provide a custom behavior when opening or closing the connection, then you have those functions that you have to simply implement, and they will be triggered for you. You can, for example, customize the serialization and deserialization process. So you have to just implement those functions and they will be triggered in the right event in the right moment. And there are many others property. You can check out the full list of properties in the official documentation of RxJS WebSocketSubject. I put the link below. I will be sharing my slides later, of course. And here is an example of using the RxJS WebSocketSubject config. I'm creating my WebSocketSubject by calling the WebSocket factory function, and this time I'm passing a whole object which contains the URL, the open observer, close observer implementation. I want the system to log for me here, connection established, for example, or socket closed, etc. And you can put wherever a behavior you want. And for the deserialization and serialization process, also I put some functions. Under the hood now, I tried to put here the algorithm of the RxJS, if you want, a WebSocket subject. When you subscribe, then if you're not connected already, then the connect socket will be triggered, and will establish a connection for you. And once the connection is okay, then the onOpen method available in the W3C specification will be triggered. And if you have provided a specific behavior in the function open observer in your WebSocket subject config, then it will be triggered. If the connection is not okay, the onError method available in the W3C specification will be triggered, and inside the WebSocket subject config, the onClose method will be called, and it will check if you are provided a custom behavior in your config, which is the close observer function. If so, it will be triggered. Now, when a message is coming, then it will be, the deserialization unit will be called. If there is a custom behavior, then it will be triggered. If not, the JSON.stringify will be called by default. And for the other way around, when you're sending a message and a unit for serialization will be called, if you have provided a custom behavior in your serializer function, then it will be triggered. If not, JSON.parse will be called to serialize this message. Now, if you are done with your connection, then it will you can call complete, and it will close the socket. Now, what are the types of messages supported? This subject supports binary messages and text data and JSON, etc. And for the binary data, you have to just put your customized method of serialization and deserialization. I have here an example. I'm changing the binary type to array buffer, and I am doing some treatment to process my binary messages using unit 8 array. But it's just an example to show you how it works. Now, how to handle the authentication? To handle the authentication, for my project, I'm just sending a payload for my server, and I'm using this GWT token, but you can use any other authenticator. And here, the server layer should be aware of this and just send the adequate message when the token is sent and validated. So an implementation should be done in the server-side layer, and in your front end, you just send this authenticator. And the last question, how to handle the reconnection? Well, for this part, the reconnection is not offered by the RxJS WebSocket subject by default, whether do the WebSocket protocol in itself. But you can easily do it, okay? If you don't handle the reconnection now, then the stream will be closed and the WebSocket subject will no longer emit values. Well, so this is not the behavior that we need in the real-time world. So we have to implement the reconnection, and it's easy to do it with some RxJS operator and with the RxJS WebSocket subject and RxJS WebSocket object. And I will show you how to do this later in the code directly. Now, what architecture to adopt? When you're working with Angular, it's highly advisable to externalize all your WebSocket subject logic in a separate service and just inject it in your live component, and you're done. Now, enough chit chat. Let's see some code. And here I want to show you my application. So here is my ng real-time dashboard. Okay, it's something, nothing fancy. It's very simple, and I have here my live table component, which is instantly reacting to the changes and updating the view. I'm using Angular 10, and I will show you here the code. So I have here the service dealing with all the WebSocket logic, in which I handle the connection, the reconnection, and all this stuff. So I have to hurry up a little bit because I have no time. Here, okay, so here the first method is calling the WebSocket factory function. I'm just passing my URL, and it's here it's advisable to externalize your WebSocket endpoint in a separate in the environment file if you're dealing with Angular. And here in the open observable, I'm just logging that the connection is okay, and in the close observer, I'm just triggering the connection to try to reconnect when the connection is down, because this is the event that will be triggered when the connection is down for whatever reason. So I'm sure it will pass from here, and I just call here the connect method with reconnect true. And in my connect method, I have just this parameter to differentiate between the both modes, whether it's the first connection or it's a reconnection mode. So if it's the first connection, then I just pipe these are observable and process the messages. And if it's a reconnection mode, then I implemented my own operator here, which should just retry the observable, okay, after a delay, which is configurable. Okay, so here I have a delay, and I try every time to retry the connection after this delay. But you can do any other behavior. For example, you can switch to the next available server or something. You can do whatever we want. For me, my choice in my little application demo, I just here retry the connection after a delay, and I send the processing messages here to my to a private subject here. I'm using, okay, in which I handle the reconnection, etc., the subscription and the unsubscription, and just expose it to the external world. And in my live table component, as I call it, here is the real-time component. I just subscribe using the asynchronous pipe to the observable I get from this service. Okay. And that's it. I just changed the change detection strategy to on push to gain a little bit in performance. And I'm calling the connect in the ng after view. You need to just create the WebSocket subject and all this stuff. Yeah, and that's it. Okay. Okay, it's very quick, but you can find those resources. I will share them on Twitter later, and I will share my slides as well. Well, and here you can just to deal with your incoming request. I'm just using the network tab. Okay, I will just make it go, and you can filter the WebSocket requests. And Jordan, you can go here to the messages to see the incoming messages. You can debug it like this. And for testing your WebSocket server, you can use this extension, which is Smart WebSocket client to test your WebSocket backend. And that's it. And I will try here now to just stop my server. The server shut down or connection interrupted or something, and I will now start it again, and you can see it's reacting instantly to the changes. And in the console, you should be seeing the reconnection stuff after the delay I put. And that's it. I dealt with it, and it doesn't cost anything to implement the reconnection strategy with the WebSocket, with RxJS operators and all the logic I showed you. Now I will move to an advanced feature, which is the multiplexing. So in the real world application, you may see many components, okay, many live components related to many services in the backend, real-time services, of course. Maybe they are deployed in different servers with only the GUI combining them together. So, and they have every, component is related to separate servers deployed, as I said, in separate machine or something. So there are different endpoints. So it may make sense for you to just create a WebSocket subject and a separate connection for each component and for each service. Don't do this, okay? Because this will harm your performance and it's very resource expensive. And a common pattern is to provide a gateway, okay? A gateway that will route the request to the adequate service. So you're dealing with one connection in your front-end layer. You have only one channel and you are requesting one endpoint, and this endpoint, this server, will just route the the request to the adequate server, okay? And this is highly recommended, this story of gateway. But still, even if there is one gateway in your client side layer, you maybe want to manipulate streams if they were coming from different services. And this is exactly what the multiplex is implemented for. I mean, you can here create your WebSocket subject and then multiplex it as many times as you have as your services. Okay, here if I have 3 services, I will do 3 multiplex. Every call is for one service, and I will get 3 different observable, okay? And in this observable, I can here send messages while subscribing and unsubscribing to the server, so the server can just route the messages to the adequate servers. And in the final, parameter, the third one, will be checked in the client layer and in the RxJS WebSocket subject implementation to route this method, type of message to the adequate component. For example, the alerts observable here will get only the message of type alerts, okay? And you can put your types for the other components. This is just an example, okay? And when you subscribe, then this message will be sent to the server. So it's like a hint to the server to say that this component is subscribing. So please give me the data of alerts. For the unsubscription, please stop listening, stop routing events. And you can handle the story of type in your backend. And yeah, that's it for the multiplexing. And I break it down now in one picture. I mean, here the capabilities of the RxJS WebSocket subject, and which are finally the answers to all this question. Okay, so there's the multiplexing support, binary support, event typing, message buffering, auto reconnection. There is also the cancellation if you want to stop listening in something, but I put only the most important ones. And if you deep dive, those are the capabilities that we need in the real-time world. So if you want to check any library to use it or something, you have to check those criteria and those parameters, because it's very important to be taken into account. So I can do all of this, and all of this is supported with the RxJS WebSocket subject, and it was highly helpful for me in my project. This is the, not the last slide before, yeah, this is the performance tips. And okay, when you're dealing with real-time updates, etc., you have to care about the performance. Here are some hints. I mean, when you're working with Angular, you can use change detection strategy to ambush, which will be helpful. Lazy loading, track by ng4. And if your application is scalable, then it's highly recommended to use the state management. I am using NGRX, and I have a version in my GitHub dealing with state management and with NGRX. And there is a library that I want to give a shout out to, which is the Rx Angular. Okay, still there are some performance issue even when you're putting all this in place. The re-rendering strategy of Angular and the change detection, etc., may be optimized further, and this library was highly, helpful for me. It reduces the it enhances the performance, and I don't have a delivered version using this library, but it will be delivered soon with the help of Michael. Michael is the creator of this library, and it offers a tool set to handle full reactive application with the main purpose, the runtime performance and the template rendering. So it's very powerful when you want to improve your performance. Give it a check it out. And if you have any question, you can ask Michael. He's always reactive. Thank you very much. Those are further reading for you. Thank you very much for having me, and stay safe. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me. Thank you.